Okay, so for those who don't know me, I'm Hanna Waterstrat, and I'm the director of the State Efficiency and Environmental Performance Office at the Washington Department of Commerce. My office is broadly responsible for reducing greenhouse gas emissions from state government operations, and with the passage of our Buy Clean and Buy Fair bill last year, this now includes prioritizing low carbon construction. So I'm here today to provide some updates on how we're implementing our Buy Clean and Buy Fair law, and before I get started, Jessica had reached out to ask if we could use help from hub members, like on creating a FAQ, creating a one pager for AEC professionals, or any other helpful resources. And I was really excited by that question, and about that idea, but I haven't settled on an answer. So that's something I'd like to just put in your minds as I present today, and as a question back to you all, like what might be useful to you, and how can we work together? Happy to revisit that at the end of my presentation during the Q&A, or you can anyone's welcome to reach out to me anytime. Okay, so my office is part of the Energy Division or State Energy Office at the Department of Commerce, and we work in partnership with other commerce programs. There's a lot of them to strengthen communities in Washington State. Yeah, so very cool. We had a bill and now we have a Buy Clean and Buy Fair law. If anyone wants to look that up, the reference in RCW is 39116. I'm going to kind of go over some boring stuff about the law and the sections that are included in it first, and then give some updates about where we're at. So this RCW is comprised of 7 subsections, and I think the ones that we're going to talk about the most are the ones right in the middle there. So first up, reporting requirements. And also, I can't see the chat while I'm presenting, so if anyone has a question, urgent burning question, I'm happy to take them as we go or just wait till the end. So reporting requirements are covered projects. In the first 2 years, those are state agency, includes higher ed, new building construction projects over 100,000 square feet. And then starting in 2027, it drops to projects over 50,000 square feet. The law covers concrete, wood, and steel, and asks that projects submit data before substantial completion. In terms of what these projects are supposed to submit, this includes basic project information, so your project name, location, purpose, the product quantity for each of those covered materials, a current EPD for each of those materials that you use, the manufacturer name and location, and then if it's available, we're asking for health product declarations, a supplier code of conduct, and any Office of Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprises certifications. There's also reporting requirements around supplier workforce data, and what we're asking for on that side, this is the Buy Fair side, includes names and locations of actual production facilities and number of full, part-time, and temporary employees. So a layer deeper about these reporting requirements, when available, we're asking EPDs should be supply chain specific. And if a supply chain specific EPD is not available for a selected material, a product or facility specific EPD may be submitted. But what we're not looking for is industry average EPDs. Then there's also some caveats here in the law. Reporting can be suspended if a state agency determines that the requirements would cause significant delays or cost increases or result in only one supplier being able to provide the covered product. We haven't developed yet a specific exemption process, but that's something that's on our list to do in the upcoming months. And then also on the workforce side, if suppliers cannot provide workforce data, project teams just have to document the steps they took to obtain the data. That could be something like, you sent an email to the supplier, but they didn't respond. We just want to document what those steps were. Then there's this little tiny section kind of tucked into the middle of this law that asks state projects to move from prescriptive specifications for concrete to performance-based specifications with a little bit of flexibility there. So we're doing a lot of work right now with our state project teams to make sure that they understand what is involved with performance-based specifications and have good resources to actually meet that standard. Then the next section is about our reporting database. The statute asks that we publish global warming potential as included in the EPDs that we collect. And then along with the database, we will develop guidance and other resources. That includes educational resources, measurement and reporting standards, and then model specifications, and a little bit more on those resources in just a minute. We also have a technical work group with representatives from all of the covered industries, from state agencies, environmental groups, labor unions, architecture, engineering, and construction businesses, and minority and women-owned businesses, and the Carbon Leadership Forum. And if you're hearing dogs barking in the background, I apologize. I have a new foster. It's a whole thing. It's kind of a circus over here. Um, So while I'm on the topic of the technical work group, um, both of the legislative reports from this work group, there's one in 2025 and one in 2026 in September, will include a policy recommendation. And embodied carbon policy is a hot topic right now. We just talked about the code proposals. There was a code-focused bill in the legislature last year. Um, I expect that this work group will be interested in any developments that happen while they're kind of underway, whether that's through code proposals or legislative action. And I expect the bill that was introduced last session to pop up again. Um, and while that bill is a little bit different than Buy Clean and Buy Fair in that it would affect commercial buildings and not just state government buildings, and would phase in some embodied carbon reduction targets, while the Buy Clean and Buy Fair bill is kind of a reporting only bill that doesn't include reduction targets. Um, I don't see that proposal or the code proposals as conflicting with Buy Clean and Buy Fair. And in fact, it could really complement the work that we're doing right now. So our technical working group will just have to kind of see how things go, and we'll be kind of responding and reacting to any policy or code proposals that are enacted during the time that they're doing this work. So yeah, we'll just see what happens. Then I wanted to talk a little bit about where we're at. What we have done, we have model reporting specifications and educational videos available on our website, thanks to some work that we partnered with Carbon Leadership Forum on. I have been able to hire staff support. We have started meeting with a technical work group. We just posted a brand new reporting FAQ to our website, and we're embarking right now on our database project. Really excited. We're going to be working with a company that also has worked on Buy Clean and Buy Fair, or Buy Clean databases in other states like Colorado and New York. Then up next, we're going to be developing some project guidance for state agency staff, trying to really understand their needs better as things move forward. We'll be embarking on that database project. Project reporting starts on July 1st, 2025, although I gather that we don't have a lot of 100,000 square foot buildings currently embarking on the construction phase right now. So it might be kind of a slow on-ramp in terms of project reporting while we just kind of wait for things to enter the pipeline and then move towards substantial completion. And then also we're working on those legislative reports. So our first one, which includes some policy recommendations and information related to a low carbon materials manufacturing plan, is due in September 2025. All right, let's see what else I have in my notes here. We're good on that. So the resources that we have available right now, I mentioned the educational videos. Those were developed with the Washington State Agency staff and project teams in mind, but I've found that they're really useful to a broader audience. I have required my team to watch these during onboarding. I have, sent them to some of my colleagues in our policy office. I've even sent them to legislators so that they can kind of build their knowledge, skills, and abilities around embodied carbon. We also have model specifications available on our website for each of the materials that are included. We have some information about sustainable design requirements. We also have a product data reporting form that projects can use after the time that reporting begins, but before the database is operational. So that should be really helpful. Um, the specifications we developed, while Buy Clean and Buy Fair does not include a global warming potential limits or reduction targets, the specifications do include steps that agencies could take to set those targets and achieve them. So we're hoping that some will opt into doing that. And then also, they're included in those kind of model specs is also model contract and RFQ language. Then there's two sets of these specifications. One are standalone, and the other set is kind of integrated with LEED. So we're hoping that those are super duper useful to our project teams. And I know we're coming up on time here, so that's all I have, but would be happy to answer any quick questions.